Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of this solo leveling review read-through series. Today is a big one, boys. It's a very big episode today. A lot of questions are about to be answered here. So without wasting any time, let's just get right into it. So we start off at the airport where Yuri Orlov, the Russian hunter, is here. He has agreed to the deal, obviously, to help them with the big gate in Japan. And he's asked, how are you going to block off the gate? And he says he's going to be drawing a huge magic circle around the gate and pour all his mana into it. Easy peasy. And of course, people are like, well, how can you do that, right? Like, it's a very big thing. And he's like, well, I can't sustain the barrier with just my mana alone. But his magic circle can draw mana in from the surroundings, so if they set up large quantities of mana crystals, then he can absorb the mana from the mana crystals into the barrier, and we're all good. He's like, very cocky, like, I'm gonna save your lives and everything, ha ha ha. So Chairman Go's watching this, and he's just like, I don't know about this. I don't know if you can do it. So anyway, he then asks Jinwoo about his favorite subject, Jinwoo. He's like, what's Jinwoo doing now? Is he pooping? Is he sleeping? What's he doing? And Jinwoo's like, well, he's currently raiding a gate in Seoul, actually. And then Jinwoo's like, gives him a list, like, hey, by the way, his guild asked for permission for all these gates and all this type of stuff. Jinwoo gets a phone call, which pretty much tells him about the gate that has reappeared at Jinna's school. And they say, like, sir, a double dungeon was discovered inside it. And he's like, what? And they're like, yeah, and Sun Jinwoo went in there to deal with it. So now we are back inside of the Karlinon, whatever it is, the temple, where the spooky angel is speaking to Jinwoo, right? He's speaking to Jinwoo, right? And Jinwoo's like, okay, so you're the guy who called me here, right? And he's like, yeah, I am. So when Jinwoo asks, are you a monster? He's saying, you're asking the wrong question. Instead of asking who I am, you should be asking, who are you? He then tells Jinwoo that there will be a test. If you're left standing, at the end of it, I will tell you, right? So Jinwoo's test is just beat up all the giant statues, right? So Jinwoo tries to use shadow summoning, and the angel clicks his fingers and goes, nah, that's cheating, bro. That's cheating. And then Jinwoo suddenly gets a notification that says, job-specific skills are not permitted. And then he gets another notification that says, you are no longer authorized to purchase potions or other items from the shop. You're also not allowed to use quest rewards or level up rewards from status recovery. So, yeah, the angel is, as you could tell, he controls the system. And Jinwoo's like, oh, damn. And Jinwoo's like, okay, well, good thing I leveled up my strength. And he could still use inventory. That's still there. So, big battle, Jinwoo taking down a lot of the statues and all that. Again, I don't want to describe it because I'm gonna do a bad job. I'm gonna do a real bad job. So, here's like a cool picture of one of the cool shots that he does. I'll pick one and show you it, right? So, all that. The angel tells him that he's like, I'm impressed, man. I gotta say, man, you've really impressed me. I didn't expect you to get this far, but you've done really good in this short amount of time. He's like, but you know what? Yeah, man, I can't have you win. So he then snaps his fingers again, and remember that big creepy statue with the face that was everywhere? Yeah, that stands up now. So Jinwoo's got to fight him. It ain't looking too good for our boy. So that is chapter 125. Real easy, real short. So we pick up chapter 126. Chairman Go is in a meeting with the old leader, like the old commander and all that of like Goto's guild from Japan, and he gives him like a list of that guy slides Chairman Go a thing, and he says, this form says we will relinquish everything we got from the Jeju Island raid. Everything. And Chairman Go's like, why you do this? And the guy's like, because we want to hire son Jinwoo. And Chairman goes like, well, sorry, he ain't affiliated with me. I can't do anything about that, right? And the guy's like, I know. I just want a chance to talk to him, to negotiate, right? Chairman Go says, well, if you don't mind, I'd like to talk without the interpreters. And he starts speaking Japanese. Big man here. He's like, all right, man. He's pulling out, going like, I don't need these interpreters. I've just been playing along with you. I can speak Japanese. And he tells him, Chairman Marzumoto, which is the guy's name. He says, I've heard rumors about your guild, the Blade Guild. They've cut ties with you. He pretty much just says that, you know, you're in a big, deep of trouble right now, right, with the guild and all that, because the Blade Guild's no longer the top guy anymore. If anything goes wrong with this gate, you will be the one to take responsibility. All that type of stuff. And Chairman Go reveals that he knows all about what went down on Jeju Island, about the ploy to kill all the Korean hunters, and Japan takes the credit. And he pulls out like a recording like device, and he's like, yeah, we got it all here. All right, it's a camera that has it all, right? Got everything, gotcha. And Chairman goes like, did you really think I wouldn't find this out? Right? He's like, if this becomes public, the people of Japan are gonna have to deal with what you've done. You have condemned your whole country to this. But then Chairman Go breaks the camera. He's like, but I'm not that cold-hearted. I wouldn't do that. Right? I would not punish an entire country just for one man's, you know, problems. Right? He's like, and for that, you can thank Son Jinwoo. Speaking of Jinwoo, back inside the dungeon, he ain't looking too hot. To fight all these. I'm gonna fight all the statues. But we do, it's just really cool action shots of Jinwoo surviving. His Dominator's Touch has been upgraded to Final Form Commander's Authority, which is like, you know, that's the move where like, you know, like he makes like the hand out of mana and all that, and he can grab things from afar. It's now been fully upgraded to its final form. So Jinwoo quickly realizes that, you know, he's like, the only way I can move forward in this fight is I gotta take down the big dude. I gotta take down big dude. So Jinwoo rushes towards him, uses the Dominator's Authority skill, grabs the dude. It actually does some damage to him. However, when Jinwoo just tries to straight up like hit him with like his daggers, it does nothing. So that ain't gonna go well. So Jinwoo then just decides, all right, well, weapons ain't gonna do it, but you know, skills and stuff work. So he just decides, I'm just gonna punch it, and he punches it really hard, and yeah, that did it. That did it. He beat it by just straight up punching it through the face. That's sweet. And then he uses his Dominator's Touch to like take down the rest of them, right? So then the Angel comes, and the Angel's like, hey, you did it! Awesome sauce, dude. And Jim was like, are you gonna keep your promise? And he's like, oh, but the test isn't over. He's like, I'm still here. I'm the final test. So then Jinwoo gets a notification saying your heart will stop beating if you fail to defeat the enemy in the allotted time of 10 minutes. And when Jinwoo again asks, who are you? The answers don't come from the angel directly. They come as text boxes from the system, which I think is really fucking sweet. And it says, I'm pretty sure I told you that was a silly question, but fine, I'll give you an answer. You want to know who I am? I am the architect of the system. And that's where 126 ends. We move on now to 127. We are outside of the gate. Outside of the double dungeon gate. Jin Chul is there with 7 elite hunters from the Hunters Association. But he knows they're not enough, right? And he feels like a terrifying aura emanating from the gate, which is obviously Jinwoo and the architect and everything that's going down. One of his members tells him that Chong-in and Ha-en have agreed to come in. They're gonna come, right? So they just gotta wait for that backup, right? They're waiting for the backup of the S ranks. So Jinwoo is fighting the architect, who gets like 6 hands. No, 8 hands. He's got 8 hands. Jeez Louise. And he's taking it to Jinwoo. Jinwoo ain't ready for this. Jinwoo actually bleeds. Like this man is getting hurt. So it's a really sweet fight. Jinwoo actually ends up cutting his face, and he cuts like half his face, and you get to see like underneath the stone what he looks like, because the stone is like kind of just like armor in a way. You get to see what he looks like, and he kind of looks like a shadow when he's like cut. It's really cool. There's a sweet shot of like what he looks like with like half his face cut, and like the stuff around his eye, the stone around his eye is revealed, and it's really freaking cool and creepy. I think that's really cool. Jinwoo tries to use Dominator's hand, but the architect's like, no bro, I can do that too. Come on, man. What is this? How are you able to give me powers, right? Like, how does this work? And all the architect says is, I didn't choose you. In fact, I was against the idea. I am just the architect and moderator of the player breeding system. So he's like pretty much letting you know, I didn't pick you to be a player. I just now that you are a player, I give you everything, right? Like, he's like, I didn't choose you, but I'm the moderator. I gotta moderate you and all that type of stuff. So Jinwoo finds out that the more and more this fight is going on, he finds all his senses are getting sharper and he's getting stronger. And he can find that even when he's not even looking at the architect, he can sense where he's going, you know, and what weapon he's using and all that type of stuff. So he's getting even stronger, he's getting even faster. He even manages to break off one of the architect's arms. And the architect says, I'm in a fake body. I can't, you know, how am I capable of feeling pain right now? And then he's like, this is why Jinwoo was chosen. He's like, I can sense a small fraction of it, but it's still there. What is he talking about? Ooh, creepy. He gets mad though. He's like, you're just a human. You know, how dare you do this to me? So then he starts getting the statues up again to help him, which that's just cheating. Jinwoo, though, uses Dominator's authority, and just pushes them all back and says, no, I don't got time for this. So he goes after the architect. He starts slicing off the rest of his arms. In the end, he does beat the architect. It's over. Jinwoo has a dagger up to the architect's throat, and the architect's like, okay, I lost. It's over. You passed the test. Jinwoo passes the test with 2 minutes and 11 seconds remaining. As we end chapter 127, we go into chapter 128. And the architect starts to give his answers. He says, the answer to your questions, it's within you. And Jinwoo then gets a pop-up come up, and it says, the data stored in your memory will be retrieved. Do you accept? Alright? And Jinwoo's like, sure. You know, I accept. And a big explosion. Jinwoo is then taken and shown a battle. What a battle. There's a bunch of monsters. You know, demons, orcs, goblins, all this type of nonsense. And above in the sky is a bunch of gates. The same type of gates that are above Japan right now. They're not like the normal like light bluish type of thing. They're like very dark gray, all that type of stuff. Right? So here we go. They tell you a lot about what the army's made of. Ice elves, orcs, goblins, giants, demons, all this type of stuff. But it's like the sky cracks open, and out flies a bunch of soldiers with white armor and wings. And the monsters and the silver soldiers, they just start fighting. It's a big war. Suddenly, the silver soldiers stop fighting because someone steps out. He is wearing black armor with purple highlights, like purple aura coming off him. And he just says one word. Arise. And Jin was like, wait a minute. And he sees the moves the guy's using. He's using Monarch's Domain. shadow extraction, and all of the dead monsters that the Silver Soldiers have killed now arise as Shadow Soldiers. And Jinwoo's like, that is the Shadow Monarch. And we get this sweet picture of the Shadow Monarch on a horse, a shadow horse, in his armor, and it's sweet as hell. It is so awesome. So all the dead monsters start attacking the Silver Soldiers, right? Like as the Shadow Soldiers, right? So the fight keeps going on now. Instead of the monsters, they are now Shadow Soldiers going on to fight. Of course, the Shadow Monarch, he also enters the fight, and he starts clearing house, dude. Using all the abilities. He even uses Dominator's Authority, which Jinwoo just unlocked, right? We get a cutoff point now, because we gotta go back to the Double Dungeon. So, all the S-Rank Hunters are here. They're here for help. Jinchul and his boys, they are inside to go inside the Double Dungeon to help Jinwoo, right? So they open the door, and they see, like, you know, all the destroyed statues and all that type of stuff, right? And Jinchul's like, oh, damn. So what Jinwoo told me in the beginning was real. The statues, the sculptures, all that type of stuff. It actually exists. And the architect speaks up. And he's like, oh, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. What you doing? And they're all kind of shocked. Like, what the hell? This thing's talking? And all the architect says is, how dare you disturb the king in his slumber? And then we get to see a shot of Jinwoo. Jinwoo's just kind of standing there, like, blank, looking off into space, because, you know, the man's in his own head somewhere. And a guy tries to approach him, and the architect slices him, just flings him across the room. And the architect's like, you will make great offerings to the king. And that's where 128 ends. We go to 129 now. You can tell it's serious too, because the logo for this issue, it's all black. We're all black. We're serious now, boys. Serious now. Go to all the hunters fighting the architect, trying to survive. Can they do it? No, because a lot of them are being wounded, and a lot of them need healing. And the architect uses all the statues again. It's a really cool fight. That's all I can say. It's just really cool action and beautifully drawn fight scenes. But again, I can't really describe it because I'm not that good at it. And I think you should just read it because it's so good and beautiful. You get to see Jinchul going around, you know, burning stuff. It's freaking great. Sorry, Jinchul's not burning stuff, but you know, he's going around knocking stuff. But they're finding that these statues are a lot stronger, you know, than they thought. Joe finds that, like, you know, like his fire spells, they aren't doing that much. A lot of the other hunters are like, you know, like my psychokinetic spells, they aren't working, you know, I can't do this, right? And then Cho's like, well, there's only one thing we can do. We have to wake up Jinwoo, you know? So, he's like, well, we gotta wake him up, so I gotta do whatever I can. So he, like, throws a fireball, hoping that, like, you know, this will hit Jinwoo, snap him out of it. But the architect stops it and goes like, what you doing, bro? No. The architect was super close to just devastating Cho, just killing him. But he should be thankful because a lot of tanks came in at the last second to shield him. Like, he was real close to dying. So Jinchul then tells Cha, like, go wake up Jinwoo. Go wake up Jinwoo. Go wake up Jinwoo. And she's super close to reaching Jinwoo, and we go back to the dream. So in the dream now that we're seeing, we get to see all the shadow soldiers. They are now fighting demons. And Jinwoo even says that, like, well, these are the demons I saw when I met Essel and all that type of stuff. So now they are fighting the shadow soldiers. Demons are actually, like, doing good. They're actually, like, pulling their own, winning, all that type of stuff. The Shadow Monarch. We then cut to the Shadow Monarch, and there's another, like, soldier. This isn't a dead guy. He's, like, I guess, like, a demonic soldier or something. He's, like, leaned up against the wall. And the Shadow Monarch walks up to him. And the Shadow Monarch speaks. And he says, we had a chance to end this war today. Why did you betray me? And the demon is just like, you know, I could have done away with you. What a shame. And the monarch's just like, why did you betray me? And that guy answers in like demon language. They don't translate, so I don't know. Whatever he said, the monarch ain't too happy. So the monarch grabs him and crushes his head. Well, that's one way to, that's one way to to deal with it. He lets the dude whose head he's crushing go, and Jinwoo sees underneath the mask, because the mask kind of falls off, that it's the Demon King Baron that he killed with Essel. And he's like, huh? And suddenly, Jinwoo finds that he is in the body of the Shadow Monarch. And Jinwoo starts to feel something, in his chest. He's like, what the hell? We get a nice shot in Jinwoo's chest. Right next to his heart is another heart that is glowing purple. I wonder what we are alluding to here. The sky breaks open. More of those silver soldiers show up. And that's where we end. And that's where we end this episode of Solo Leveling. It's a big one, boys. This is a big one. We had a lot thrown at us. Jinwoo met the architect of the system. He got to see a big battle between the Shadow Monarch and a bunch of those soldiers, and then the Shadow Monarch and the demons and all that. We got to see a lot of the hunters just get bodied by all these statues and all that type of stuff. It was a very big chapter. We still have some questions not being fully answered yet, but that's what the next couple chapters are going to be. So that's it. That is Solo Leveling today. Let me know what you all thought in the comments down below. And I will see you guys all next time, where we have even more cool stuff for Solo Leveling to go through.